Finally, at the age of 52, I feel strong. And what started out as a commitment to build physical strength has ended up changing how I feel about myself, why I'm here, what I'm capable of, and how I feel about aging and how I look as I age. If you've followed the Honest channel, you'll know this has also been the year of rebuilding mum and dad, where I've shared my parents' incredible progress in their 80s as they began a strength building program to regain muscle. It was a commitment we made together back in January when we set up a barbell rack in my garage and promised that we'd work together under the guidance of the brilliant strength coach Chris Reese to protect our health, mobility and independence. But what you might not know is that this has also been a year where strength meant far more than the weight on the bar. It's been a year of supporting loved ones through mental health challenges, navigating a hormonal rollercoaster through menopause, facing criticism, overcoming self-doubt, and learning what strength really looks like in midlife. This is the story of the highs, the lows, and the lessons that changed me. For years, I knew I was losing power. My lower back felt pretty stiff and weak most of the time, and sometimes I'd completely put it out and it would seize up for a few days. After giving birth to 2 children in my 30s and having to have emergency surgery after the second, I was diagnosed with a stage 2 rectocell, which meant suddenly I was dealing with pelvic floor weakness. Now, I improved things with Kegels and bridges, but it was always there in the background. And my knees were sore and stiff too, to the point where I could barely kneel. I thought I was active because I walked the dog briskly every day, but in fact, I was weak. And until last year, I also thought that being youthful and vibrant was about staying slim and fighting wrinkles. But I could also see the trajectory. I was heading down the same path my mum had been on before she started strength training. She had sarcopenia with significant muscle loss in her back. She'd been diagnosed with osteoporosis in her 60s, and as many of you know, her mobility became severely compromised. And I realised that if I didn't intervene, that's where I was heading to. And as I dug deeper into the science of muscle, I learned that building it doesn't just protect mobility and reduce the risk of catastrophic fractures from falls. It also improves insulin sensitivity and metabolic health. It reduces inflammation, protects brain health with a significantly lower risk of dementia, improves our posture, circulation, and even skin quality. Muscle, it turns out, is the organ of longevity. So together with my parents, we started lifting in January. Very light at first, learning the 4 key movements that Chris was teaching us: the squat, deadlift, bench press, and overhead press. In the first month or so, the heaviest I could deadlift was around 40 kilos. That's about 88 pounds. And I had to build very slowly, especially with those pelvic floor issues, and learn how to breathe differently to manage pressure when I was lifting. And there were moments when I was worried that lifting was making things worse, and points where I genuinely thought I might never be able to lift heavy. But then, around summertime, something shifted. And by strengthening the area of weakness, my symptoms began to reduce dramatically. Today, I'm barely aware I even have a rectocell. I do need to manage my breathing when I lift and keep up that pelvic floor work, but because I've been building all the major muscle groups, it feels like the combined strength has helped restore function in my pelvic floor. And the tension I used to feel most days in my neck and shoulders is also gone. My knees and lower back can still feel a little bit stiff after long periods of sitting, which I do a lot with work, but nothing like before. Now, in the spirit of honesty that is this channel, I do feel that although my functional strength is good, I could be fitter. I walk the dog briskly for about 45 minutes every morning, including up hills, but despite promising myself months ago that I would add high-intensity interval training, life got busy and excuses. And I know I could be doing more and that I have to step that up in the new year, even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes of interval training a few times a week. That said, I am in significantly better shape than I was at the start of the year. I've always been pretty lean, but now I have visible muscle definition. I have full knee mobility again. I can kneel and crouch and stand up without using my hands. And although my parents are coached by Chris, I'm not. So I learn from what he teaches them and follow a similar program, just adding weight slowly and cautiously. So now on the deadlift, I'm lifting around 61 kilos. That's about 134 pounds. And that's taken nearly a year. So I have been very cautious because I've never lifted weights like this in my life. At school, I felt totally unathletic. I felt like a bit of a weakling, and I genuinely didn't know I could be physically strong. But of course, the vast majority of us can be. And when we challenge our muscles and our bones, they do respond. And so for a quick snapshot of where I'm at on those other lifts, I bench press around 36 kilos or 79 pounds, overhead press about 33 kilos or 73 pounds, and I squat with roughly 46 kilos or 101 pounds on my back. And that has given me functional strength. So earlier this month, when we picked up our 8-foot Christmas tree, I threw it over my shoulder and carried it to the car myself. Now, I would not have been able to do that last year, and I would have really struggled to carry it all the way to the car on my own too. But that's the kind of easy strength most of us can and should have. And it has changed how I see myself. I literally feel like I hold more weight in this world. And I see now that some of my greatest concerns around how I looked as I age and the changes in my skin came from that sense of lost control. And strength training gives me that control back, and I feel way more relaxed about aging and about moving through the different stages of life and how I look in those stages. Another positive has been letting go of the idea that I need to be skinny to be attractive. That belief held me back for years and contributed to an eating disorder in my 20s. Now, I want to be healthy, toned, and strong. And I am. But the biggest high of the year has, of course, been the response to rebuilding mum and dad. Millions of people have watched my parents' progress and shared their own stories with us too. We've heard things like, your parents inspired mine to join a gym in their 70s. I even had someone say their dad in their 90s had been inspired to start building strength, and countless others have shared how they've begun weight training because of the benefits that my mum and dad have so clearly shown. And over time, I've come to believe that sharing that message is why I'm here. In fact, I think the three of us were somehow meant to show that it's never too late to build strength and change how we age. And I will never forget the kindness and encouragement of strangers cheering us on from all over the world. It's such a moving and powerful thing. So thank you. There were, of course, some lows. Visibility brings with it criticism. Some questioned whether older adults should lift heavy and chastised me for putting my parents at risk, or so they saw it. Others criticised our form, that's mine and my parents, and that is the risk of sharing how we do those lifts publicly. Everyone has an opinion on what we're supposed to be doing, and we're not always showing our greatest moments and our best lifts. We're documenting our progress. But I am confident that our fundamental form is solid, and if Chris Reese says our form is good enough, then I trust that. Some days we wobble. It's not always perfect or pretty, but it's good enough. And we know we're on the right path. And none of us have had a strain or injury from lifting weights this year. And if you watch our 1-year update in January, I'm going to be sharing some extraordinary news from my mum's latest DEXA scan. Proof beyond doubt that this works. But this year has also demanded another type of strength, and that's emotional strength. Supporting loved ones through mental health struggles while myself navigating menopause. Some days I feel great, others I have headaches, gut issues, low mood, anxiety, really dry eyes, sometimes all of them together. And HRT has helped some symptoms and worsened others, so I've ended up having to microdose. But I am an optimist by nature. And this year I developed a way to hold on to hope and positivity through the good and bad days. Because when your work depends on being creative and energetic, you have to protect that source of inspiration. Joy doesn't just happen, it has to be harvested daily. So earlier this year, on a particularly low day, I was listening to Lewis Howes' School of Greatness podcast, which I love. Highly recommend it if you haven't listened to it. And he suggested visualizing yourself 10 years in the future, the version of you who has the wisdom that you don't yet have. And so I tried it, and I felt like a message came to me, and it was that we need to draw from a well of inspiration daily. Otherwise, it dries up. And I visualized a round stone well on a windswept hill by the coast, surrounded by tall trees. And I started visiting it in my mind each day because I found that by doing that, as somebody who has a very kind of busy mind, always checking lists, and by visualizing this well, I could kind of stay focused and in the present rather than my mind meandering. And after doing that visualization each day, I would write down what I had drawn from it. And within weeks, I had about 7,000 words. But I wasn't sure whether I should share them or not. And then something I thought that was quite extraordinary happened. Walking through the beautiful grounds of an old castle near our home, we took a new route. And we turned a corner, and there was a round stone well, exactly like the one I'd imagined in this visualization. So I sat down on it to take in the view and asked my husband to take a picture of me. And later we noticed that right behind me in that photo, there was a rainbow over my shoulder. And that is when I decided that I would make that writing public, and I've called it The Well. So I've put that on my website rather than publishing it on Amazon or something like that. And I've shared access details in the description below in case you're interested in reading it. And if you do and you decide to try a visualization like that, do let me know what you find and what you discover. So to recap, this year taught me firstly that we have to purposely build physical and emotional strength. It's not something you just find. Secondly, we can't control what others think about us and say to us, but we can control what we think of ourselves and what we say to ourselves. Thirdly, building strength removes fear of aging. And fourthly, something I learned through the huge interest in rebuilding mum and dad is that every one of us has vast untapped potential. We may not feel it right now, but it is there. And when you just keep pushing on with something you believe in, what you build can become bigger than you ever imagined. And no, it's not too late. So I want to wish you and your loved ones strength, happiness, and always hope. Thank you for watching, listening, and supporting my content this year. Let me know how the year has gone for you and what you're looking to build on in 2026. Next time, I'll be bringing you the very best advice shared on the channel this year, so I hope to see you then.